Betrayal, that's the only word that pounded in my head over and over when I came home that day. Betrayal. I had no idea how many hours had passed. Minutes felt endless, like being underwater. My hands trembled so violently I almost dropped my keys. The lock fought back as if warning me, as if begging me to walk away from what waited inside. No. I had to see. I had to confirm, to scorch my eyes with the truth. Because there was no unseeing what I'd already witnessed. My chest felt crushed, like my ribs caved in on my lungs, refusing to let me draw a full breath. I pushed open the door. Silence. Not the comfortable hush that greets you after a long day at work, but something else. This was a silence that accused, that flaunted secrets, that shimmered with the ghosts of voices once here. I'm Daniel Carlisle, 42, husband, father, or so I believed. Now, I'm just a man on the edge of a discovery that poisons my every memory. I forced myself to take one step, then another. The living room still smelled of her perfume, orchid and jasmine, that subtle sweetness that used to make me smile whenever she walked by. This time, it made me want to retch. I pictured them here, behind the couch, maybe pressed against that wall where family photos used to hang. If I closed my eyes, I could see the shape of their shadows in the fading afternoon sun. My legs shook. My heart hammered. Would she dare? I swallowed, but a bitter taste remained in my mouth. I kicked a piece of paper. It skittered across the floor. A DNA test result. I picked it up with the numb caution of a man who already knows the verdict but clings to hope anyway. My name wasn't on it. Or rather, the father's name was not me. My 9-year-old boy, my son, turned out to be someone else's. Each number on that piece of paper was a dagger. Probability, 99.9%. Father, Michael Harlow. I reread it again. 99.9%. That was the cold, indifferent conclusion. The so-called miracle of modern science, telling me the child I had tucked in for years, whose tears I wiped, whose birthdays I'd planned, whose future I dreamed about, he wasn't mine. My mind shattered. My breath tangled in my throat. How many times had I suspected something was off, pushed the thought away, and told myself I was just paranoid? Or how often did I see hints, a text message from an unknown number, her phone suddenly clasped to her chest, when I passed by, the anxious glances, the late nights at a friend's place, the trips to see out-of-town clients. I placed the DNA printout on the coffee table. Then I noticed something else. A single plate, empty. We had dinner here last night. A silent, tense meal. I'm not feeling well, she'd said. She had hardly eaten, and I had just watched her, trying to read the guilt in her eyes. The plate remained, as if someone left in a hurry, or maybe I was the one who left too soon. Either way, it was a testament to the life I thought we shared. Now bare, cold, a stage for the final act of our crumbling marriage. I inhaled. My voice came out in a whisper. Laura, why? I expected no answer. And I got none, aside from the echoes of my own heartbreak. My mind jumped back to that moment earlier in the day, how I burst through a door that wasn't quite locked. The bedroom door. Our bedroom door. I never heard her make that sound with me. A breathless moan. Desperate. Yes, it had shattered me in an instant. I try to rewrite it, to pretend I hadn't seen, hadn't heard. But every time my eyes close, I see them. Her legs tangling with his, her nails raking his back, that fleeting glimpse of her face twisted in passion. I couldn't breathe. My heart wanted to stop, as though giving up would protect me from further agony. I backed away. I almost ran, stumbling down the hall, fumbling with the front door, slamming it behind me. I must have sat in my car for hours, haunted by the image, adrenaline and confusion battling inside me. Eventually, I drove, not caring where, until numbness led me back here, to this house, the one we once called home. Now, I stand in our living room. It feels as though I'm stepping onto a fresh crime scene. Too late to save the victim. The victim is me. The murderer is the woman I call my wife, and the man who fathered my child. The child who's not mine. Betrayal. My hands ball into fists. Anger flickers. Slow. Frigid. I'm not the type to fling furniture or punch walls. I simmer. My stomach tightens until it feels like I'm about to be sick. My head swarms with questions. Why did she lie? For how long? Did she love him more than me? Which of us was the lesser man in her eyes? My eyes drift to the family photo on the mantel. The boy is smiling, his cheeks rosy. He looks like me, or so I always thought. A friend once joked he had my smile. How gullible was I? Another memory, teaching him to ride a bike. He fell twice, skinned his knee. I told him, "It's okay, buddy, I've got you." But I never did have him, not like I believed. That knowledge stabs deeper than I imagined it could. I turn away, teeth clenched. The hush in the room is suffocating. I want to talk to someone, but who? My parents are gone. I have no siblings to confide in. Should I call my best friend from college? And say what? Hey, guess what? I just found out my wife's lover is my kid's real father. No, I can't. Not yet. I step outside again to catch my breath. The autumn wind whips my jacket. Neighbors pass, oblivious, nodding a brief greeting. I nod back, forcing a tight smile. No idea that my world just collapsed. I wonder how many houses hide secrets behind their closed doors. We live in these neat suburban boxes, each with curated lawns and pretty facades, never suspecting the rot inside. I stand there for a moment. My phone buzzes. It's a text from my boss. Clients want an update. I almost hurl the phone across the yard. Instead, I slide it into my pocket. Who cares about clients when your life is falling apart? A strange calm sweeps over me. I realize something. I'm not the same man who left for work this morning. That Dan died when he saw Laura and Mike in his bed. This new Dan is numb, calculating. He's cold. I walk back in, shut the door. I think about rummaging through her things, but a voice in my head warns me. What good will it do? Instead, I head to the bedroom. Our sheets are tangled, the duvet half on the floor. The faint smell of sweat, and something else, shame. My throat tightens. The sight of it replays that moment like a short film projected on loop. I forcibly look away. The closet door is ajar, some of her clothes fallen off hangers in the rush. When did she leave? I remember hearing the front door slam. Then a car speeding away. She probably packed in a scramble, or maybe she didn't pack at all. My mind conjures an image of her grabbing her phone, a few random essentials, while Mike whispered urgent, frantic words I can't hear. Did she see me standing there, or was she too lost in that moment with him? Bitter laughter escapes my chest. How could I be so blind? I murmur. It's not that I was blind. I just trusted her. Isn't that what marriage is supposed to be? An unconditional vow to believe in each other, even when things seem off. Now I question every vow we made. I recall our wedding day, her radiant smile as she walked down the aisle, the tears in my eyes when I promised to love her forever. A painful memory, because it feels so naive. I swallow the lump in my throat. There's a mirror on the dresser. I look at my reflection. My eyes are bloodshot, dark rings beneath them. My hair's a mess from me running my hands through it. I hardly recognize this version of me. I press my palm against the surface. Cool glass. Then that battered face stares back with pity, or maybe condemnation. Maybe I was too predictable, too complacent. Maybe I wasn't adventurous enough. Maybe I never listened well. My mind bombards me with potential failures. I shake them off. Don't justify her betrayal, I tell myself. She chose to cheat. She chose to lie about our son. The rational part of me knows I can't take responsibility for her actions. But the rest of me, husband, father, can't stop dissecting how I might have driven her away. I step back from the mirror, exhaling raggedly. Questions swirl. What now? Do I divorce her? Fight for custody of a child who might resent me? Do I chase after them, or do I let them vanish from my life? Then I remember the final clue. The boy is mine in all the ways that matter, except biology. My love for him was real. I still feel it. That alone confuses me, makes me ache to a point of near collapse. I sink onto the bed, ignoring the lingering scent in the sheets. This was supposed to be my safe haven, I whisper. Damn it. My hand grips the fabric. I ask myself, do I still love her? Is that love, or is it just habit? And do I hate him? My mind doesn't have answers, only a roaring emptiness. I close my eyes for a moment, inhaling. My heart thuds, its rhythm erratic. I can't stay here, I realize. The place is thick with memories, choking me. So I get up, grab a small duffel bag, and toss in some clothes, enough for a few nights. I won't be sleeping here. Let it be her domain, at least for now. I end up at a motel off the highway. The neon sign flickers like it's about to die. The room smells faintly of cigarettes, and the sheets are rough, but I can't muster the energy to care. I sit at the edge of the bed, trying to organize my thoughts. Then I pull out my phone. Several missed calls from an unknown number, probably her, using a borrowed phone. A voicemail from Mike's number. Ironically enough, I delete it without listening. Night creeps in. Sleep is impossible. The only comfort is the hum of the motel's fluorescent lights. My mind replays their bodies entwined. The memory is vivid as though it's happening right now. The curve of her bare back, his hand sliding down, her soft gasp. My stomach churns. I clench my fists. I'm stuck in some insane feedback loop. Longing for the wife I knew, disgusted by who she's become, or maybe who she always was. I think about the child. My son. My boy. He must be so confused. Does he know? Did she tell him anything? That's a conversation I never imagined, and now I can't escape it. Eventually, I must pass out from mental exhaustion. The next thing I remember is waking to the pale morning light. My neck is stiff. My eyes feel like they're full of grit. I shower in the motel's cramped bathroom. Each droplet stings my skin. I get dressed mechanically, slip on the same shoes I wore yesterday, and step outside. My phone buzzes. A text from Laura. Dan, we need to talk. About everything. I'm so sorry. Please pick up. Mike has something to say too. I read it 3 times. My jaw sets. So now they want to talk. After wrecking my life. I stuff the phone into my jacket. Then I get in my car and drive, not to the office, not to the house, but to a small park near Lake Michigan, a place where the wind can knock some sense into me. I sit on a bench, facing the water. Gray waves. The sky overhead is as bleak as I feel. The cold air sears my lungs, a reminder I'm still alive. But for what? Hours pass. I watch gulls circle overhead. A father and daughter feed ducks. The child giggles. The father smiles. I wonder if that father is the real father, or if he's living my nightmare in a future he can't even imagine. That raw ache in my chest tightens again. My phone keeps buzzing with messages. I ignore them. Finally, near lunchtime, my stomach growls. I haven't eaten since. I can't remember. I rise and drive to a diner for coffee and a sandwich. Everything tastes like cardboard, but it steadies me. The waitress eyes me with concern when she sees my hollow expression. "Everything okay, honey?" she asks. I just nod mutely, leave a tip, and walk out. I can't avoid them forever. My boss calls. "Dan, are you all right?" I tell him I have an emergency and promise to update him later. My voice is dead, mechanical. He senses something and offers half-hearted sympathy, but I cut the call. Then, near the mid-afternoon, I make a decision. I dial Laura's number. She answers on the first ring, breathless. "Dawn?" Silence stretches. I hear her sniffle. "Where are you?" I ask. My tone is ice. I hardly recognize it myself. I'm at home, she says quietly. Our home. Rage flickers in me. Alone. A pause. Yes. Mike left. He said he'd stay away. Please, can we talk? I exhale slowly. I'll be there in 30 minutes. I end the call. My grip on the steering wheel is so tight, my knuckles turn white. My heart thrums with adrenaline. As I drive back to the house, my mind's a storm of accusations, questions, venom I don't know how to spit out yet. I park. The front yard looks the same, but it feels different now. I walk inside, find Laura in the living room. She looks like she hasn't slept. Her hair is unkempt, eyes puffy, face streaked with mascara. She stands as I enter. Her lips tremble. Dan. Her voice is barely above a whisper. I say nothing. I close the door behind me and stay near the entrance, arms folded. A barrier. She takes a step toward me, stops. I'm so sorry, she says, tears forming again. I clamp my jaw. Sorry. The word drips acid. For what exactly? For sleeping with Mike in our bed. For letting me believe that boy was mine all these years. For humiliating me in front of. My voice breaks. I swallow the rest. My eyes blaze. She covers her mouth, sobbing quietly. All of it, she manages. I never wanted it to get this far. I never thought it would go on so long. My laughter is harsh, hollow. That makes me feel so much better. She tries to reach for my hand. I step back, and the gesture dies. Dan, you have every right to hate me. I do. My breathing is fast, shallow. But more than hating you, I feel betrayed. And that pain, I can't just turn off. She says nothing for a moment. Then, tears streaming, she confesses, I met Mike when I was lonely. You were working late so often. I felt invisible. It was just once, I told myself. Then, it happened again. Before I knew it, we were in deep. When I found out I was pregnant, I hoped he wasn't the father. And then you were so happy, I couldn't bear to hurt you. I lied to him too, told him the child was yours. But after a while, I couldn't hide it from him. We argued, we fought. He threatened to tell you. I begged him not to. She looks drained, like she's lost all color. I know it's too late, Dan. I know I've destroyed everything. But I still care about you. I never wanted you to find out like this. My fists clench. You never wanted me to find out at all. Stop pretending you cared about my feelings. If you did, you would have told me years ago. She flinches, tears welling anew. You're right. I was a coward. I've been living with this guilt, terrified that you'd discover the truth. I glare at her. So you let me raise him, pay for him, love him, while Mike hovered in the background. Mike didn't want to be a father, she says quickly, her voice shaking. He said he wasn't ready for that responsibility. So I kept quiet. It was easier. I know how terrible that sounds. My eyes burn. Silence stretches. Finally, I speak in a near whisper. Where is my boy now? Her expression sags with relief that I called him my boy. He's at a friend's house, she says. I couldn't. I didn't know what to tell him. He's confused. He keeps asking why you left. A knife twists in my gut. I imagine his face, worried, maybe thinking I abandoned him. Hot tears threaten the corners of my eyes. I blink them back, jaw set. I need time. I can't face him yet. I have no words for him. Not now. She nods, standing there like a statue of regret. I understand. My anger roils. No, you don't understand. You have no idea how it feels to discover that your life is a lie. That you're the last to know you're not actually a father in the eyes of biology. That your wife was in this conspiracy for years. She brings a hand to her mouth, sobbing again. Dan, please. I shake my head. I'm done. Then, after a slow breath, I add, I need you gone. Or I'll leave. I don't care, but I can't stay here with you. She nods, shoulders slumped. I'll go to my sister's. I just want you to know I never meant to hurt you this way. I bark a dry laugh. Does that even matter now? She whites her cheeks, picks up a small bag by the couch. She had prepared for this. She's known I might ask her to leave. Her face looks so vulnerable, so broken, but I can't muster pity. When she passes me to walk out, I turn away. I wait until I hear the click of the door shutting behind her. Then the house is silent again. Empty. The scene of my greatest heartbreak. In that silence, coldness seeps in. I realize that the man I used to be is gone, replaced by a new version. One who's forging armor from these shards of betrayal. Days pass in a blur. I call in sick at work. My boss tries to be sympathetic, but I can't explain. My world shrinks to these walls, memories lurking in every corner. Sometimes I find old photos of me and Laura and want to tear them apart. But a calm voice inside me says, no, hold on. Don't let the anger devour you. Use it. During this time, I see the boy once, briefly, when Laura drops him off to pick up some clothes. He runs to me, hugging me fiercely. Dad, he says, confusion brimming in his eyes. My heart aches at that single word, Dad. Guilt floods me. I've avoided him. He's still a child. He doesn't know the full truth. I kneel down. Hey, buddy, I say softly, my voice shaking. I'm sorry I was away. Some grown-up stuff. You okay? He nods, but he's tense. When are you coming back? He asks, blinking up at me. Mommy said you're upset about something. My throat tightens. I don't know yet, but I love you. My voice breaks. Because it's true, no matter what the test says. He lights up at that, as if those words are all he needs. Children's trust is heartbreakingly simple. Then Laura clears her throat, signaling it's time to go. He hugs me one more time, and I clench my eyes shut, fighting the urge to cry. He heads outside. She lingers for a second. Our eyes meet. Guilt, sorrow, both swirl in her gaze, but we say nothing. She leaves, shutting the door gently. I stand there, fists shaking. I love that boy. I hate her. And I despise Mike for stealing something intangible from me. This swirl of emotions fuels my rage. I want revenge, like a primal hunger in my chest. But how? That's the question that keeps me awake. It's a random Thursday evening when the phone rings, a number I don't recognize. I answer. A hesitant male voice. Dan, it's Mike. I clench the phone. Why the hell are you calling me? His sigh rattles through the speaker. I know I'm the last person you want to talk to. But we need to figure this out. About the boy. A heartbeat passes. I want to scream at him, threaten him, inflict the same kind of pain he inflicted on me. Instead, I find my voice unnervingly calm. There's nothing to figure out. He's my son. Mike's breath catches. Legally, yes. Biologically, don't you dare. My tone drops to a deadly whisper. You had 9 years to speak up. You didn't. Now you think you can step in and claim him. He hesitates. I never wanted to be a father. That's true. But I can't just ignore him anymore, can I? He's my blood. My muscles coil. Do you want to take my place, Mike? My voice wavers with fury. You think you can just waltz in and be dad now? Silence. Then he mutters, I don't know what I want. I just feel responsible. I let out a mirthless laugh. Responsible. That's rich coming from you. You knew he might be yours, but you let me raise him. You let Laura keep me in the dark. You played with my life. Now you have a pang of guilt. He doesn't answer. The hush is heavy. Finally, I say, stay out of my life. Stay away from my son. If you try to make a claim, I swear, I'll bury you. I hang up, chest heaving. That surge of adrenaline sets my heart pounding. I realize my hands are shaking so badly I can barely hold the phone. In that moment I decide, this has to end. I can't live in constant dread, waiting for Mike to appear and muddy the waters with lawsuits or paternal rights. I can't let Laura's betrayal overshadow my every breath. I need an action, a closure. That night, I paced the living room. The hum of the heater is the only sound. My mind churns. Some part of me wants to confront him physically, hummel him until he begs for mercy. But that would be too obvious, too small. I need something that severs me from this man's shadow forever. I recall he's a freelance specialist. He thrives on reputation, client reviews. He depends on references, on networks that trust him. A plan takes shape in my mind, cold and methodical. I hate how petty it sounds at first, but the more I think about it, the more it feels right. I have connections in the corporate world, people who can cut him off from contracts, from opportunities, people who trust my word. It's not legal action, it's not physical harm, but it might systematically dismantle the comfortable existence he's built. If he wants to be so responsible, let him do it with no job, no money, no prospects. It's sabotage, and part of me relishes the idea. I can feel the old me, the mild, loyal Dan, recoiling from this plan. But that Dan was betrayed and left for dead. This new me sees revenge, not as petty, but as a path to liberation. I'm not seeking justice from the courts, or from fists. I'm seeking to destroy the illusions that let him intrude on my life. Make him face real consequences at last. I do a few calls, subtle inquiries. I speak to a friend in a large tech company. I mention Mike's name, letting slip that there are integrity concerns. My friend picks up the hint, assures me he'll spread the word discreetly. I reach out to an old colleague in another firm. Same hint. I've heard rumors about Mike's work ethic. Might want to steer clear, just enough to plant seeds of doubt. The next day, I find ways to leave negative feedback on platforms he relies on for freelance gigs. Nothing outright slanderous, just factual notes that his professionalism is questionable. Over time, these things accumulate like a slow poison, rotting his livelihood from within. Weeks stretch. I see glimpses of the effect. I hear from mutual acquaintances that Mike lost 2 big contracts, that he's complaining about false rumors. He suspects me, no doubt, but he can't pin it on me directly. The knowledge gives me a dark satisfaction, the kind that keeps me awake at night, torn between guilt and triumph. Laura tries to contact me a few times in an attempt to make peace, but I don't want peace. Not yet. She's not the target of this vendetta. I realize that eventually. She's just a woman who made terrible choices. But Mike, he was the intruder who waltzed in. He was the one who fathered my son behind my back. So I continue quietly twisting the knife in his professional life. Am I proud of it? Some part of me is. Another part is sickened by how low I've stooped. But I keep going, maybe because it's the only thing that distracts me from the hollow ache in my chest. Meanwhile, the child. My boy. I can't stand the thought of him paying the price for our adult war. I see him on weekends now, picking him up from Laura's sister's place, taking him to a movie or the park. He's confused, but I try to be there for him in small ways. He doesn't know about Mike. He doesn't know the truth. And for now, I want to keep it that way. One Saturday, we're at a burger joint. He's sipping a milkshake, telling me about his new science project. My chest tightens with pride and sorrow. After a moment, he pauses. "Dad," he says softly, "Mom and you, are you ever going to live together again?" My heart sinks. I swallow, choosing my words carefully. I don't know, buddy. Sometimes grown-ups have problems they can't fix right away. He looks down, swirling the straw in the shake. "But we'll still do stuff together, right?" My voice cracks. "Absolutely." He nods, tries to smile. The sight of him quietly accepting that everything has changed is heartbreaking. But I can't lie to him. He doesn't deserve that. Time passes. My revenge plan matures. The updates I hear about Mike are grim. He's hemorrhaging clients, money is tight, and some big reference he was counting on fell through. My friend calls me one day, chuckling. I think we torpedoed him pretty good. I hang up feeling a mix of satisfaction and emptiness. One night, a sudden knock at my door startles me. It's late. I open it to find Mike standing there, unshaven, eyes bloodshot, my pulse spikes. He looks desperate. "What do you want?" I growl, stepping onto the porch, shutting the door behind me so my boy, sleeping in the guest room, won't be disturbed. He's shaking with anger. "I know what you've been doing," he says through gritted teeth. "You're destroying my life." "That's interesting," I reply calmly. "I thought you did a fine job of that on your own." He exhales raggedly. "I get it. You're mad. But come on, Dan. Don't you think you've gone far enough? You ruined my marriage, fathered my child, and kept it from me for years," I say, voice trembling with controlled wrath. "You think far enough has any meaning here?" He meets my eyes. I see fear swirling in his. "I'm sorry, okay? I never meant for any of this to happen. Laura, she was." I raise a hand to cut him off. "Don't mention her name. Don't pretend it was an accident. You had a choice." He opens his mouth, but no words come. His breath is visible in the cold night air. He looks around, as if hoping for an ally. There's none. Finally, he says, "I'm broke, Dan. My lease is up soon. I can't find new work. I'm losing everything." I stare at him for a moment. A part of me wants to see him crawl. Another part wonders if this is the moment to stop. "You know what losing everything feels like, Mike," I say softly. "It feels like stepping into your own home, only to discover your bed is occupied by someone else. It feels like your child is a stranger's. It feels like the ground has opened under your feet and you're free falling with no net." He shudders, tears welling in his eyes. "I get it," he says hoarsely. "You want me to suffer. You're damn right I do." My voice is low, a whisper that resonates with fury. "You have no idea how many sleepless nights I've had reliving the scene of you and her in my bed." He hangs his head. "Nothing I say can fix that. But I didn't come here to fight. I came to ask for mercy." The word stumbles out of his mouth. A twisted sense of power flares in me. The man who took everything from me is begging for mercy. I close my eyes, a wave of conflicting emotions surging through me. I recall the father feeding ducks at the lake, the father I wanted to be. I remember the boy's face, his innocence. And I remember that revenge is not a reckoning, it's a liberation. If I continue down this path, I might never be free. I'll always be defined by what they did to me, tethered to Mike by hatred. I inhale, letting the frosty air burn my lungs. Then, slowly, I exhale. "Mercy," I repeat. "Do you deserve it?" He doesn't answer. He only looks at me with hollow eyes. I realize he's trembling, not from the cold, but from genuine fear. I take a step back, crossing my arms. The old me might have caved to pity. The new me sees an opportunity for closure. "Get off my porch," I say evenly. "If you're asking for forgiveness, I'm not there yet. But I'm done destroying you. That's it. I'm done." He looks like he wants to argue, to plead for more. But something in my face must warn him not to push. He nods jerkily, steps away. "Thank you," he mutters, not meeting my eyes. Then he trudges off into the night. I watch him vanish. My heart is pounding. A swirl of triumph, relief, and a strange sorrow. I feel no satisfaction in his misery. Maybe I wanted to, but in the end, it just feels like cold ashes in my mouth. I go back inside, lean against the door. My boy sleeps, unaware of the quiet war waged between his two fathers, one who gave him life, the other who gave him everything else. I feel tired, bone-deep exhaustion. This fight is done. Months slip by. I handle the divorce papers. Laura and I meet once to discuss final arrangements. The conversation is somber but civil. She doesn't contest my desire to remain a prominent figure in our boy's life. She confesses that Mike is drifting away again, having realized he can't step into fatherhood so late, especially with his finances in ruins. He's relocating, maybe to the West Coast. Good riddance. My job welcomes me back. My boss is understanding. Life forms a new shape. I live alone in a smaller place, a modest apartment near the old part of town. It suits me, quiet, private. On weekends, I pick up my boy. We do normal stuff. Watch baseball games, talk about school, enjoy a pizza. I don't mention the paternity. Maybe someday when he's older, he'll want answers. But not now. Let him stay a kid a while longer. I see Laura occasionally. We exchange small talk for our son's sake. There's no spark, no illusions about reconciliation. At times, I think I see regret in her eyes or longing. But that door is shut. I'm not the same man she married. One cloudy evening, I'm alone, tidying the living room of my new place. I stumble on a framed photo, me holding the boy as a baby, him wearing a silly little onesie. I remember how proud I felt that day, how I marveled that life could be so wonderful. I set it on a shelf. The pain is still there, but it's changed. Softer, less jagged. I'm healing. The phone rings, my buddy from college. We chat about random things. He asks if I want to join a group fishing trip. I say yes. I realize that for the first time, I'm looking forward to something. A small sign of life after devastation. Later that night, I stand by the window, gazing at the streetlights. I can still sense the ghost of betrayal. But it doesn't grip me like before. I survived. I exacted my revenge. And in doing so, I found a strange calm. I realized that vengeance didn't rewrite the past or erase the pain, but it pried me loose from the shackles of my own rage, set me on a road to a future that's mine alone to shape. I step away from the window, feeling the hush of my apartment. For the first time, the silence doesn't suffocate me. It feels peaceful. There's a storm rumbling in the distance. Thunder flickers through the night sky. I close my eyes and breathe in, steady and measured. Tomorrow, I'll pick up my son. We'll get pancakes, maybe see a movie. I'll keep being there for him, because that's who I am. And no DNA test, no adulterous fling, can change the bond I feel. I think of Mike, drifting somewhere, and feel no desire to chase him further. We're done, he and I. Whatever cruelty I inflicted, it's enough. My anger is spent, replaced by a quiet acceptance. Laura is her own story now. I won't pretend I can forget, but I won't let it define me either. So here I stand, in this moment, free of illusions. The final hush of heartbreak resonates inside me. The old Dan died, but a new Dan took his place. And that new Dan is calm. And maybe a little scary in his resolve. I'm all right with that, because I've learned something. Revenge is not a reckoning. It's a liberation. Outside, lightning splits the sky. I watch it, unblinking, until the thunder rolls across the rooftops. Then I turn away, letting the last echoes of betrayal fade into the dark. My chest feels lighter, my breathing steady. Tomorrow is another day, a day I face on my own terms. I glance once more at that old photo, the corner of it reflecting the dim lamp. Then, with a steady hand, I set it aside, savoring the hush. There is no triumphant victory or neat ending. Just me, standing in the stillness, determined to live. And that is enough.